After the Blackhawks lost to the Ottawa Senators, their pick is only going to keep on getting better and better this season. And we're going to be talking about the top pick that they have in this draft and who is going to be available at that choice, because if this is number 2, they have all the choices in the world. We're also going to be touching on one player that with their second first round pick could be a very sneaky pick if they do end up having the choice to select this guy. So we're going to be talking about the first pick here as well as then the second pick, but once again, we're going to be talking about this for a lot of this offseason. Once the time comes, the Blackhawks are eliminated, that starts up this draft. So you're going to want to make sure to hit the sub button if you do want to stay up to date with all of the Blackhawks news, the picks. We know that 78% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed, so if you want to stay up to date with the Blackhawks picks and what their plan could be at this year's draft, you're going to want to make sure to hit the sub button, because we will be on top of all of this news and we'll be keeping you updated with every single bit of it. But we're going to start it off here with that first pick. Like I said, what is projected to be at number 2 overall, only second to the San Jose Sharks. Now, I'm going to start off with the guy who I think is a unanimous number 1. If the Blackhawks do end up getting the number 1 pick, they take him. But other than this, they're going to have to make a different move. But that is Macklin Celebrini, We know, I'm not going to touch too much on him, how good he's been in the Boston University and in the World Juniors for Team Canada. He just keeps on solidifying himself as the unanimous number 1. So like I said, I'm not going to touch too much on him here. We know Macklin Celebrini. We've spoken to him about you, but if the time does come where they didn't end up getting the number 1 pick, it is him to be a Chicago Blackhawk. But let's move on to, the guys where it kind of gets a bit murky down here. First of all, I'm going to pull up the first 7 projected picks on, I believe this is NHLmockdraft.com. I realistically think the Blackhawks could get pretty much any of these picks, any of these players, but we're going to touch on a few here in specific. The first one being the actual pick they have out here in Anton Silayev. You can see a big 6'7" left-handed defenseman. The points aren't there for him, but once again, he's playing in the KHL with a lot of these older guys. He's a 6'7" defenseman. He uses his size, his reach, and that's really his skill. When the NHL time comes that he's going to be on a team, they will work on it from there, but once again, his reach is so important. He's so good on defense that the offense don't need to be there for him, and a lot of teams have to recognize that. We know the Blackhawks have a very depthy left-handed defenseman prospect pooling, so that is also something to think about, but once again, he's very good. So Noah, what do you think about him?
Yeah, obviously the big standout thing is the fact that he's 6'7", but you don't really know that. He's such a good skater, and I think he plays top minutes over there in the KHL, and that's pretty good for an 18-year-old. Obviously playing with guys who are between the ages of 25 and 35 who've been around for years. So I'm pretty impressed by him. But obviously I'm going to talk about a guy a little bit later that I think I'd like the Blackhawks to take if they got this, maybe even the second or the third pick. But I'll wait for that for later.
Okay. Yeah. Once again, like you said, a big 6'7" guy playing with people who are very possibly could play in the NHL, but due to other reasons, they're still playing in the KHL. And showing off his defense and that's his reach, his skill with everything. It really shows a lot. Now, once again, the prospect pool on the left side for Chicago is very depthy, so that's one point of concern. But one other player I want to talk about regarding the KHL, MHL, whatever, is Ivan Demidov. Now, we've seen a lot about him. There's a lot of rumors of him being linked to the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks being interested in him is not always a bad thing. We know Ivan Demidov, 60 points in 30 games in the MHL, which I believe is the second league under the KHL, the AHL equivalent of the NHL in the KHL. So, once again, showing very impressive points at that young age. A very solid player that, once again, I would not complain if the Blackhawks got. I think he's one of the most underrated players, and I think that you could see Silayev and Demidov go 2 and 3, really depending on who owns the pick and what the situation is. But Noah, what do you think about Demidov? We spoke about him in a few videos ago, but let's take a little brief and in-depth look here with him.
I'm going to say the exact same thing I said from the last video. Obviously, it sucks that Russia couldn't get the World Junior team over in the tournament this year. Obviously, political reasons. I'm not going to talk about that. But that would just kind of show the world who Demidov is. Obviously, being in the KHL, it sort of secludes you in terms of not playing in North America. But this kid is for real. Obviously, we've heard about guys like Matvei Michkov. A lot of Russian players that have sort of struggled to, obviously because of the political reasons and things like that. But yeah, I'm very, very high on Ivan Demidov.
Yeah, I like what you said about the KHL. We don't really know a lot of these prospects, a lot of these guys. We haven't really seen how they can play against, NHL prospect competition of someone around their age group heading to the AHL. And a lot of these KHL guys that you've seen play over there for a long time, I'm going to mention one in Kirill Kaprizov. They come over here absolutely flying and being a superstar. So I think we could see a situation like this here again with some of these guys like Silayev and Demidov, but it's only going to be, we're going to have to see really what happens with all of this. Once again, they definitely do have something to show to the rest of the world over here that we don't see them every day playing. So I like what you said about that, but I have one more here. This one's going to be a bit biased because he's my favorite prospect in the draft here, and that's Cayden Lindstrom. I love the way this guy uses his size, his weight, and he's putting up some absolutely insane numbers, as you can see there. 46 points in 32 games in the WHL with Medicine Hat. 66 penalty minutes, just really showing the physicality this guy has. I really like the way he plays his game. He's a shot, like a big center, left shot, and, I have so many good things to say about this kid. I'm really, really high on him. Once again, though, I think the Blackhawks would definitely have to move down if they wanted to take him. Yes. I wouldn't take him at 2 or 3, but he's one guy that I think is on the radar of a lot of teams around the NHL. Puts me in mind of a Kirby Dach style player by size to player comparison, and I think the Blackhawks definitely need a bit more size in the offense. So Cayden Lindstrom, one in my mind that I really, really like to see here. If it's possible. Once again, I don't want to see a reach for him or anything, but if possible, I like him going to the Blackhawks. So now, what do you think about my guy, Cayden Lindstrom?
He plays like a stereotypical NHL centerman. Obviously, big size, big body. That's what you need for a centerman in the NHL. And 27 goals this year in the WHL. Obviously, the WHL is a little bit of a more high-scoring league. Obviously, you see players get crazy stats, but 27 goals in however many games it was there, I'm not sure. That's like you can't. That's really, really good. Yeah. So that's a good guy that they should target. Absolutely. I'm on the Lindstrom train as well. But I also have one last guy I said I was going to talk about. And that's obviously if the Blackhawks want to go a defenseman. You talked about how they're pretty stacked up on the left hand side. Obviously, guys like Kevin Korchinkski, Nolan Allen, Ethan Del Mastro. It seems like they're pretty, locked in there on the left side. But that guy is Zane Parik. Obviously this year I think he's like 33 goals. I think he's like 10th or something in the OHL in scoring. I'm not gonna put expectations on the guy, but watching a couple of his highlights and seeing how he moves and how he plays a lot like Cale Makar. And I know that's a really, really hard thing to live up to, and that's a really, really, that's a superstar to be compared to, but this kid has it 100%.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting one there. If, depending on, once again, where the Blackhawks try and go, what they're looking for, because really the only right-handed defenseman here is Artem Levshinov. I do apologize if I pronounced his name wrong, but, he is that right-handed defenseman of the top of this group, and then it really goes down there. So, once again, really depends on what we're doing here in this situation. But I have one more player that I want to talk about as well, Noah, here, like you just said, but this one is not with the first pick that they have. This is for the second pick. If they do have potential to reach this guy at the second pick, I do definitely think they should do it. Now, once again, it's kind of in the middle of the first and second pick, so once again, I don't know if this is going to be straight possible, but if he does fall to the second pick, I love Tij Iginla here. We've seen this guy, the son of Jarome Iginla, 84 points, 64 games with the Kelowna Rockets. Like you said, the WHL is definitely a high-scoring league, but he's shown so much talent, so much promise, and really showed a glimpse into what he can do in an NHL setting. You can see at 17 years old there, he's already 6 foot, 186 pounds, another bigger end center, but I like I like the style that he plays, and most certainly if you can get him at what projected to be right now is the 20th pick for the Blackhawks. Although he's projected to go a bit higher, if he does fall to that pick and the Blackhawks decide not to move it, I definitely think Tij Iginla is the right decision. So Noah, just briefly, what do you think about him?
Yeah, I've seen, I don't want to be, the bearer of bad news, but I've seen him pretty, in the mid ranges there from 12 to 15, and there's a team in there, and I think it would be absolutely storybook. I think the Calgary Flames are in there at 12 or 13, if I'm not mistaken. And as an NHL fan and as a hockey fan, you cannot not want Tij Iginla going on the Flames. I mean, obviously his dad is Jarome Iginla, like you said, and I think he's involved somewhere over there in Calgary. But yeah, going back to, I guess, the Blackhawks sort of mindset, sort of standpoint, yeah, great player, obviously. What do you have, 47 goals or something, I think, in 64 games? Yeah, like, that's insane. As a 17-year-old, again, the OHL is a little bit higher scoring league, but again, you can't discredit 47 goals in 64 games as a 17-year-old. So again, I like him, or not Cayden Lindstrom, Tij Iginla, excuse me, but yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You know, it would be very nice to see him go to Calgary once again, the whole historic part of that, father playing there and everything like that, but you know, I do think the Blackhawks definitely try and go something like that, like we mentioned here in this video. A right-handed defenseman at one point, and another big-bodied center at another, or big-bodied forward, I should say. So, once again, that's only briefly what we're going to be talking about here come draft time, but we're going to have a lot more content, going into deeper in some players, a lot of different guys, some people that you may not have heard of, because this is going to be a really big draft for the Blackhawks, making this next step in the rebuild, and having a lot of picks over these next 2 years. So, you know, we're going to be talking a lot about this over the coming weeks and months, but you know, that's all we got here for today. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure to get a like, make sure to hit the sub button as well. Like I said, if you don't want to miss any of the Blackhawks news, we'll have it here for you right away. But that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.